going to share my screen. There's a phone ringing somewhere. Can we, where's here, people? I'm going to mute everyone, okay? And then whoever needs to talk can unmute themselves. Okay, there we go. I think we are good now. Can you see my screen, right? Should be able to see my screen, and we are ready to go. So welcome everyone to another Excel Toronto Meetup group session. We are now in May 2025, and we just completed 6 years. I want to say I welcome everyone, and a special welcome to those of you who are joining us for the first time. I hope you like it. I hope you come back. We always have great sessions every month. We are running 2 sessions per month. One more at a more basic level in terms of the teaching the fundamentals of Excel, those fundamentals that everyone.
I don't hear Celia.
Yeah, me neither.
Should know Excel concepts, more complex or advanced topics. We are now running the Excel Expanded series. So this is part of the Excel Expanded series. Today we have Alejandra Horvath with us. I will introduce her in a bit, just after running through a couple of other announcements. So as you know, the session will be recorded, and we will be posting the recording on LinkedIn. We have a YouTube channel that you can follow if you'd like. All the recordings are there, and besides uploading the video to the YouTube channel, we will also be sending an email with a link for the recording, any possible files that if Alejandra shares files with us, and any extra information we may have. So you can find all the you can go back and do your exercises if you want to following up with the recording. There's also a couple of perks for the Meetup group members. There's some discounts and things like that. All the communication, all that will be on a file attached to the email, and all the previous communications, you can find them on the Meetup page. If you go to discussions, I have a couple of posts there with some information where you can find that exercise files and things like that. So this is our team. My name is Celia Alves. I am an Excel MVP. I've been an MVP since 2020. I've been working as an Excel consultant. I was working as an Excel consultant for a couple of years, about 8 years or so. More recently, I joined the corporation. I'm working full-time as a business analyst and advocate. I'm working for Sheetcast at the moment, who happen to also be our current lead sponsor. I'll talk about them a little bit more in a minute. And then we have Aurora and Gráinne. Gráinne has a special announcement today, so I'm going to let Aurora to introduce herself first, and then Gráinne can also introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Aurora Szakacs. I'm a consultant based in Toronto. I'm providing data analytics solutions. I am a big fan of Excel, and I'm delighted to be your co-host tonight.
Thank you, Aurora. And Gráinne has been with us since the very first meeting that happened 6 years ago, back in 2019. And then later she started to get involved with some of the activities, and started to co-host with me and helping with creating the YouTube chapters on the video recordings that are very useful. But now she's also recently, maybe more than a year ago, Gráinne created the Women in Excel along with other co-creators of that group, co-founders, and she has now an announcement about that.
Well, thanks, Celia. Members, as you know, Celia has worked so hard over the last 6 years to provide such excellent content to the MS Excel Toronto community. And in that time, I don't know if you realize, but she's grown the membership to over 5,600 members from our first meeting that had 20, maybe 30 attendees. So that is an extraordinary achievement. So congratulations on that one, Celia. And now she has expanded the support team. And so welcome, Aurora. It's great to have new members and people in the background doing what needs to get done that people don't even see. So thanks, Celia, for asking me to be part of the team so long ago. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a marvelous experience. But now that you have more support and such a strong membership, it's time for me to move on to some of my other loves, such as you mentioned, my Women in Excel, and some other new opportunities that have come my way. So thanks again, Celia. This is going to be my last session attending as one of the admin team. And in future, you'll be finding me in the chat because no way I'm missing these things. I enjoy them way too much. It's such a wonderful resource for the community and all of the wonderful presenters that we've had. And Alejandra in particular is one of my favorites. So I'm so glad that you're here this evening. So thanks so much and goodbye, everybody.
And Gráinne, thank you so much for all the work and all the cheering up that you have always done for us and promoting the group and helping with your suggestions and your feedback and all kinds of help. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
And looking forward
to
seeing you joining us the next sessions.
Great, thank you. So
Thank
bye,
you,
everybody.
Bye-bye. Our next event will be in about 2 weeks. We will have Shandeep. This session will also occur at a different time. So usually our sessions start at 5:30 Eastern time, 5:30 p.m. This one will be in the morning at 8 in the morning, if I'm not mistaken. Shandeep wrote a book about Power Query M code, M language, and his session will be about that. So this was not on purpose, but we actually have 2 Power Query sessions, one after the other. So take advantage of that. Yeah, it's Power Query is one of the most requested topics for when people join and ask them what they want to learn. Power Query is one of the most requested topics. Sheetcast is the lead sponsor of this meetup group. Like I mentioned before, I work for them, and Sheetcast is an add-in for Excel that allows us to create web applications using Excel and using Sheetcast. What that means is that you can transform your Excel workbooks into a piece of software that works online. You can set up different levels of permission to different users, and the way it works is all the data structure and calculations are created in Excel the same way we always do work in Excel. And the web development portion is taken care by the add-in. We are preparing a session in the fall where I will explain a little bit of what you can do with it. So stay tuned for that if you are curious. In the meantime, if you want to join one of the workshops that we are running, those are more complete because the session here on the meetup will be about 1 hour or a little bit over 1 hour. The workshops are longer, 3 days, 4 hours each day, including breaks. So it's about 3 hours of content. A lot to learn and a lot of cool things, a lot of cool things that you can do with Sheetcast. There's a link there. I will put it in the chat after the this introduction. If you want to register or see information how you can join, feel free to do so. I would love to see you there. And other sponsors, Solvent Excel Consulting is my own business, consulting business. MrExcel, everyone knows MrExcel on YouTube and also on his website. We have 20% off discount on his books, so I'll put that information on the chat as well. And you can find it as well on the meetup page if you are a member. And Women in Excel, we already mentioned, has been in collaboration with us since it was created. Some of the presenters that come here to present with us come from the Women in Excel group. Let's see. Can I go to the next slide? Okay, so 20% off. I'll put information in the chat if you want to buy any of the books from MrExcel, digital books. I'll give you the code for that. And if you ever are looking for for help with an Excel problem that you are stuck and just want to bounce some ideas and see if you can solve it, take advantage of the Excel forum where you can post your question, MrExcel forum, where you can post your question and get help from experts there. And a lot more of content, a newsletter, a blog, all these PDF. This PDF will be available for you on the email that is sent after the session. So enough talking, and thank you for all your patience. Today we have Alejandra Horvath with us. I'm going to read her bio. And so it says she was very modest. Her bio that she provided to us was Alejandra Horvath is a chartered professional accountant in Canada and certified Microsoft Excel expert. In her YouTube channels, with an S, she shares content related to Excel and Power Query. Yes, so Alejandra has two YouTube channels, one in Spanish, one in English. And she's passionate about Power Query. It's been a pleasure and the joy to see her grow as an expert in M-Code, in Power Query in general, and combining this new knowledge with all her expertise in accounting and her professional experience as an accountant. And today we are lucky enough to have her here sharing some more tricks and techniques with us. Thank you, Alejandra, for joining us. The floor is yours. Let us know anything that I may have missed about you.
Thank you very much, Celia. I'm very happy to be back. It's my second time. So I'm super excited, super happy. And yeah, the only thing that I noticed you missed is that I know Power Query because of you. Your videos were the first videos and my first experience with Power Query. So I owe you my knowledge.
No, it's a pleasure.
So, yes.
It's just a joy.
Thank you. So yes, that's the part that you missed. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words, and thank you so much for the invitation again.
Oh, my pleasure.
Very happy to be here. Excellent. So I know everyone is busy, so thank you everyone who is joining. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching around the world. Thank you so much for joining today. We are very happy to have you. And let's start. So I'm going to start sharing. Oh, I cannot share now.
Oh, let me make you a presenter because I made changes when I was sorry.
Okay.
Okay, make a presenter, change. There you go.
Excellent.
You should be able to do now. Sorry.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And just gonna remove this one here, bring my presentation over here. And perfect. Now, can you see my screen?
It's coming up.
Okay.
There it is. I can see it.
Excellent. So I'm going to leave it like this. And today, the title of this presentation is Bye-Bye Messy Data. We have Power Query to the rescue. Big fan, as Celia mentioned, I'm a big fan of Power Query. It has saved so much of my time at work that I really enjoy sharing tips and tricks about it, this wonderful, wonderful tool. Celia already mentioned who I am, and I'm going to skip that part. So I'm going to go straight to our case. And today we're going to see how we have some very inconsistent files. We're going to transform data that has only an item number, unit sold, the sales invoiced, and the discount. That's all that we have in those files. We have something very interesting on this information because we have the names of the customers right on the first column. That's the consistency that we are going to see in all these files. The consistency is just that the names of the customers are in the first column, but everything else will be inconsistent. So name in one line, last name in the second line, but you will see that we have files that have the full name in one line. So we're going to find a way that we're going to use M to account for these different scenarios to get data that is going to be useful. And at the end of the day, we're going to get information by customer, like we have in here. We have region, we have managers, we have item groups. So it's going to get interesting. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you find useful this information that I'm going to share with you. So I'm going to bring my Excel workbook. And at the end of the day, what I'm looking for is, am I giving the correct discount to my customers? I have a discount that came in the invoice. I invoice these sales and I apply a discount, but each customer will have a different percentage of discount according with the years that they have been customers, or they probably have a lot. I have a lot of sales with those customers, and probably I give them a special discount. So is this discount that I'm calculating in the invoices is matching with the discount that these customers should have? And as you can see in these pivot tables, I don't have the same numbers. So we're going to dig into that. And that's why this tool, Power Query, is so useful, because it takes me a long time figure out, if I do manually this research, it will take a long time for me to copy paste VLOOKUPs or XLOOKUPs and remove empty columns, etc. And I need to do that in let's say every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks. So we're going to find a way how we're going to do it, well, how we are going to automate that process. So here I have on my desktop a folder that is called Demo Toronto 2025, May 28. And I have a folder that is called Stores, and I have a file that is called Dim Tables. So here on the folder Stores, I have a file that is called Stores 1 to 10. I'm going to double click there. So I'm going to show you the raw data, let's say. And this file will have, let me just zoom in a little bit. And we'll have the stores, the information for each store on each tab of the file. And as I mentioned in the presentation, I will have the first column with the items, and that will have the name of the customers as well. But everything else will be very inconsistent. In this case, I have column D is empty. I have units sold, invoiced, and discount. If I go and look at store 2, I have empty columns at the beginning. I have an empty column between item and units sold, and then I don't have empty columns over here. You will notice that difference. And as I mentioned, there is a name, my customer name, right over here in one line, but everybody else will have the name on one line and the last name in the second line. So I'm going to find a dynamic way to capture that information, because what I want to do, I want to make the name of the customer part of my table, so I can identify the sales, right, when I put all these tables together. So same thing with all the other stores. I have 10 stores here. I'm going to work with the folder where I have this information saved, because I want to add later on one more file to that folder with stores 11 to 15 that I have here prepared for you with the same issues. But you will notice that once I have my query ready, when I add this file to the folder, my pivot tables will refresh automatically. Like I have here only 10 stores. If I go and look for the store 11 to 15, I go to my folder stores, Control V to paste. I go to my pivot tables, right click, and I refresh. Then automatically I have my 5 additional stores added to my pivot tables. So that's what we're going to do today. So and let's get started because there is a lot to look at today. So I'm still connected just in case. Let me check. Great. Okay, so I'm going to open a new workbook. Here on the data tab, I'm going to go get data from file, from folder. I go to the desktop, my folder demo, Toronto 25, May 28, and I go to my folder stores. Double click there, and then I'm going to click at open. And before I do that, now I notice that I left stores 11 to 15. So I'm going to delete store 11 to 15. So when we finish our query, I can test that my query is working properly, right? So I'm going to go to data, get data from file, from folder again. And my folder is stores. Double click there, open. And now I can see the content of that folder. And I have only one file, stores 1 to 10. I'm going to select transform data. I'm not ready to combine. I'm not ready to load. I need to transform that data first so I can load it. And here the Power Query Editor opens. I'm using Microsoft 365. Ctrl+C plus to zoom in. One more. On the left, I have the queries pane where I'm going to see all my queries. Power Query has named this query stores. And this is because that is the name of the folder. My folder is stores. I can change the name. I can double click and change the name, or I can leave it as is. I'm going to leave it as is. I don't have any problem with the stores. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to hide that, that section. If I want to hide, I just click at this arrow. If I want to hide, I just click at the arrow facing left. Here I have my table with the content of that folder. And on the right, I have my query settings where I'm going to see all the steps that I'm going to be processing to these files. I'm going to see those steps being recorded here on the right. For now, the only information that I want is the information that is coming from my column content. I only have one file. If I had more files, I would have more rows. But that is the only information that I need. If I don't need information, I don't bring it. I don't bring it through my process. So I'm going to make a projection. So that projection will keep only the column or columns that I want from this table. I can provide double set of square brackets to keep columns, or one set of square brackets if I want to keep a column as a list. In this case, I'm going to keep a column from the table. So I'm going to provide the double square brackets. And inside of the square brackets in the middle, I'm going to provide the name of that column content. I'm going to press enter. And as you can see, I have only that column. I didn't have to delete all the other columns. I just type the name of the column that I want to keep, and that's about it. So if I wanted to keep the column content and the column name, for example, then I could provide a comma after the first set of square brackets and then open a new set of square brackets and provide the column name. That is the name of the column. So press enter, and now you see that I have 2 columns, right? So I'm going to just expand here. In my case, I'm just going to keep content. Just wanted to show you how you can bring more columns. So press enter. And now that I have this information, what I'm going to do, I'm going to transform the content of this column. This column has content that is binary. I'm going to create a new step. I press at F6 here on the left. And after the equal, I'm going to say table transform columns. Transform columns. Here. Open parentheses is asking me for a table that is coming from my previous step source, which is this table that I'm seeing here. It has only one column, but nonetheless, it's a table. Comma, I need to provide the transform operations as a list. To tell Power Query that something is a list, I need to provide the curly brackets. And I'm going to tell Power Query that the column that I want to transfer is the column content. I provide that in quotation marks. So it's, the name of the column is text, comma. And now I can provide the operation. I'm going to tell Power Query, please process the following. I'm going to transform a binary file into a workbook. So I'm going to say Excel workbook. And I'm going to open parentheses. And I need to provide that workbook as binary. And that's exactly the type of file that I have here. So I'm going to provide underscore. The underscore is going to tell Power Query to look into every single line of this column and transform that binary information into a workbook. So I'm going to go to the end, close parentheses, and press enter. And now you see that here it doesn't say binary anymore. It says table. Now that table, you can see here, if you click on the right where it says table, you see the content of that file. We have sheets, we have up to 10 sheets, and we have 10 stores. From this information, I want to bring only the name and the data column. So I'm going to click here to these two arrows facing opposite side to expand the content of this column content. And I don't want to use the original column name as prefix. And I want to select only name and data. And I'm going to say, OK. And I'm bringing name because it's the name of the stores. And I'm bringing data because that is the content of every single sheet that I have in my file. So in store 1, this is my content. In store 2, this is my content, and so on and so forth. OK. We are doing good up to here. I'm going to rename my step where I transform the Excel workbook. So I'm going to rename that as workbook. I select the step, I press F2, and then I rename it, press enter. The next one, this is expanded content. So I'm just going to put it a little bit shorter content. Because when you see your code, it's nice to have short names and not the space in the steps. So it just looks cleaner. Now that we have this information here, I want to find a way, as I mentioned before, to concatenate somehow, to combine this name and last name separated by a space. And I need to be very careful because this column, this is store 3, will have that full name already combined, name and last name separated by the space. So what we're going to do, I'm going to transform the content of my column data. So I'm going to press FX to create a new step, and we're going to work with nested tables. I'm not going to do it in the advanced editor because I find easier just to show step by step how these tables are getting transformed. Okay, so before I go there, I'm going to click on the right where it says table so you can see what I'm trying to do here on the formula bar. After the equal, I'm going to say table, transform columns. Open parentheses. It's asking me for a table that is coming from my previous step, exp content, and is this small table that we have over here. That is the table that is coming from my step exp content. And from here, sorry about that. Now I remember I should not do that. So here we go. Let's go again. So after the equal table, transform columns, and I want to keep all the items that are above the titles, and the title in column 1 is item. So I'm going to say comma. I want to transform, I need to provide a transformation operation or transform operation as a list. I provide the curly brackets, the name of the column. I need to say that is data. Make sure that you type data exactly how the name of the column is. Otherwise, you're going to get an error. And I want to say each. So I need to tell Power Query, please process the following for every single line of this table. So I want to keep, so I want table first. And I want to grab the first items of this column. So the table is coming from my column data. So I'm going to say I want that specific information. I'm going to provide the underscore. So Power Query looks at every single line of this column data, every single table. comma, and I can provide a count or a condition. I cannot provide a count because every single file will have different numbers. Most of the sheets will have 2 lines, the first 2 lines with the name and last name, but there will be sheets with 1 line with already the name and last name. So I cannot provide the count. I'm going to provide the condition. So I'm going to say each. And for this each, let me put this one here in the next line, Shift Enter to go to the next line. From here, I'm going to say each, I'm going to say that column 1, I provide that in square brackets, does not equal item. And let's see, go to the end, close parentheses for table transform columns. And now we see that every single column, every single table will have only those items that are above the text item in column 1. So I really just want to keep column 1, right? So I just want to grab the information that is coming from column 1, and I want to bring this as a list. So to do that, I'm just going to say that I want to bring that information as a projection here, and I'm going to say that it's going to be column 1. Press Enter. And now I have that list over here. Now that I have that, I want to remove the nulls. And from here on the formula bar, Shift Enter again after the each, the first each. And I'm going to say let. I'm going to provide the let expression because now I'm going to process some transformations inside of this expression let. What I'm going to do there, I'm going to have a process that is going to transform all my tables. Once that process is completed, I'm going to close my expression let with my expression in. I'm going to bring at the end the variable that is going to have the result that I want. And after everything that is inside of the expression let will be variables, and those variables will have a value attached to it. So at the end of the day, once the process finishes, I'm going to just call the variable. That means that will bring that value that that variable has. So what I mean is this. So after the left, now that I have one transformation in those tables, I'm going to assign variable A to this function here. So this function is bringing a value. The value is this list here. So after this, after the closing square bracket for column 1, Shift Enter to go to the next line, and one more time to go one more line down. After column 1, I'm going to provide the comma. And actually, okay, so, and after that, I'm going to provide the comma because I'm providing one more variable. So B will be my next variable, and it's going to say, after I provide the equal, after the equal, I need to provide what transformation I want to process there. And that will be, I want to remove all the nulls. So I'm going to say list select, because now I'm working with a list. I'm going to select all the items that are not null. So the list, I need to provide the list as a list. So my lists are coming from my previous step. So are this list right here. The list right here. So I don't need to do any more transformation there. And I'm going to say comma. And I need, what is the selection as a function? I'm going to say each. And actually, one second, instead of the underscore here in list select, I'm going to provide A, because that's where the value of the list is coming from. I'm going to say each, and each element of that list, I want that does not equal E. Let's see. From there, I'm going to close my expression let with my expression in, and the result that I want to bring is the value of my variable B. I'm going to say enter. Now that I'm here, you can see that I don't have any more nulls inside of my list. Okay, from here now what I want to do, I want to combine these names and last names and I want to connect them through, and I want to have a space between the two. So, and I think I'm going to do it here. So after the equals on the variable b, I'm going to say the list transform. Actually, text combine. I'm going to combine the text that is coming from this list, open parentheses, and it's asking me the text as list. So I already have that information right over here on my column data. And that is the result of this operation, of this function. I'm going to provide comma. And now I need to provide a separator, which will be the space. So quotation marks, space, quotation marks to close that, and close parentheses for text combined, and I'm going to press enter. And now I have the name of all the customers, right? And I have that's all that I need. I'm going to leave this aside because later on, I'm going to add this information to the tables that we already have right over here. I'm going to go one step before this. I'm going to go and click at the table. So I'm going to now be able to add the name of the customers as an additional column here to the tables that I have on my column data. Do we have any questions? Before I continue, do we have any questions out there?
No questions, just brilliant type of comments.
I hope it keeps working properly.
Trevor raised his hand. Do you have a question, Trevor? Trevor Travis. Not sure if he wants to ask a question. Or maybe he just wanted to clap. Sometimes it happens to me. I want to just react and I click the raise hand. You are muted, Trevor. So I'm not sure if you want to ask something or. So I don't know. You can continue, Alejandra. Okay. Oh, there is the question. Can you explain the use of item in the step?
Yes. So item right here is the title of that specific column. So I use that as a key to identify which items I want to keep above this. Or later on, I will use item again to remove the top lines because now we are going to work with the tables. Yeah. So item in column 1 is the only consistency in these inconsistent files. So that's why I'm using column 1 and that's why I'm using item, because always these files will have item in column 1 and always and the name of the customers will be always above item in this column.
Yeah, he says he got it. He got it now.
Perfect. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Let's go to the next step where we have the name of the customer. So now that we know that, I'm going to go back to my formula bar. After the closing parentheses in variable B, I'm going to provide a comma because I'm going to provide one more variable. And that will be variable C. I'm going to say equal. And what I want to bring back is all the tables that are inside of my column data. So to do that, I can just provide an underscore that will bring every single item that is in that column. And I'm going to change here for the result. I want the variable C. So it will bring me back my tables without any transformation, just the tables as they came from my previous step. And that's exactly what I want. Because now what I want to do is to remove all the items that are above my column headers, sorry, about my column names. And again, I'm going to use I'm going to use item as key to identify or to eliminate all the items that are above that. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to go back to my formula bar and I'm going to say after the equal table skip, open parentheses is asking me for a table. that is coming from my column data. So I'm going to leave that underscore there. And I'm going to provide a condition. Again, I don't have the same number of lines that I want to remove. So I'm going to just provide a condition, and that condition will be each, same thing, column 1 does not equal item. So please remove everything that is in this column, and when you find the word item, stop. Don't remove anymore. That's where I want you to stop. So I'm gonna click at this check mark here on the side, and now you see that all my columns, all my tables have been removed, have the first lines removed, and my first line is the name of my columns. So I'm going to just promote that first line as headers, and I'm going to do that here on the same variable C. And then I'm going to say table promote headers, open parentheses, go to the end, and close that parenthesis for promote headers. I'm gonna, if the enter doesn't work, then you click at the check mark here on the side, and now you see that all your tables have those the first line promoted as headers. So now I'm having another issue. I have empty columns. My empty columns, in this specific case, all of them contain the word column. There will be cases when you don't have that consistency, and if you have empty columns with different titles, you will need to find another technique. I have several videos and presentations with the technique with table profile. I'm not going to present that today. I'm going to just, because we won't have time, but for this specific case, we're going to use only the consistent column text in all those empty columns. So I'm going to go back to the formula bar after the closing parenthesis in variable C. I'm going to provide the comma because I'm going to provide a new variable D. And what I want to do there, I'm going to bring the name of the columns of all those tables. So I'm going to say table column names, open parentheses, and I want the tables that are coming from my variable C. Last variable, the variable that is before the expression in, doesn't have a column. And so that's telling Power Query, this is the last variable. So I'm ready to ask you to bring me a value. And that's why I don't provide the comma after my last variable. Press enter, and now I have here the name of all my columns in every single table. From here, I'm gonna just say, let's keep only the ones that contain the word column. And let me find one that has column right here. So this star 4 has column 4. I don't use this one often, as you can see. Okay, perfect. So this one has column 4. So this is a good one to have a test. After the equal and variable D, I'm going to say list select. Open parentheses, the list is coming from my table column names, which is those lists that I'm seeing here, comma, and the selection as function, I'm going to say each element contains, so text contains, open parentheses, the text is coming from this list, so I'm going to provide the underscore. So it looks at every single item on that list, and I'm going to say that the word that it will contain will be column. Go to the end, close parentheses for list select, and let's see. So press enter, and we saw that star 4 had that. Yes, so I'm keeping those ones that contain the word column. So perfect. There will be the case where I don't have any empty column, which is star 5, and that's fine. So I'm accounting for those that have that text column. I'm going to provide a comma after my closing parenthesis in a variable D. I'm going to provide one more variable E. I'm going to say equal. And now I'm going to say table, remove columns. Remove columns. table columns right here. Open parentheses, and now I want to bring the tables that are coming from my variable C. That variable C is the one that we promoted the first line as headers. So that's the one that has the empty columns. I'm gonna say comma, and what I need to provide the name of the columns that I want to remove, and I'm gonna provide that as a list, and the list is coming from my variable D. I'm gonna go D. I'm gonna change here after my expression in. I'm gonna say E, check mark, and now I have no columns with the word column. So all of them have only 3 columns, but you know what? I don't need the column invoiced. I'm not gonna use it. There is no way, no point for me to bring it to my ending result. So I'm gonna add that to my list of the columns that I want to remove, and to append or to add a list under another list and another list. The way that you can add a list to another list is through the ampersand. We are going to concatenate the list with the name of the columns column, that contains the text column, and I'm going to add one list there that is going to contain the word invoiced. So what it's doing is going to have the list of columns with the word column, and then it's going to add the word invoice to that list. So I'm going to press enter. And now if I go and see my tables, now you see that my tables don't have that name invoiced, or don't have that column invoiced. And I have only my 3 columns: item, unit sold, and discount. And you see that in my code, I don't have hard-coded column names at all. If for any reason the name of these columns change, the columns will come as the new name. The only thing that I need to be aware that I hard-coded is invoiced. That is the only one that I need to be mindful that if that column changed name, then I will need to change that in my code. Okay. So other than that, I think it's as dynamic as I can. So now I'm ready to add the name of the customers to my tables inside of my column data. So after the closing parenthesis on my variable E, I'm going to provide a comma. Let's say press Shift Enter to go to the next line. My next variable will be F. And there I'm going to say table, add column. Open parenthesis is asking me for a table that is coming from my variable E, which are these tables that we are seeing here, comma. The new name, or the name for the new column, will be customer name, comma. And what do I want to add to that column? So I need to provide that through an operation. And I'm going to provide each, which is a keyword for a function. And what I want to provide there is the variable B, the one that has the name of the customers. So changing the result from E to F, I'm going to click at the check mark here. And now you see that my tables will have the name of the customer added, right? So magic, pure magic. So, excellent. Okay, do we have any more questions? Any questions out there?
No, everybody is so quiet. Usually the chat in our meetup is very active, but I think people are just trying not to blink. At least I am.
I hope they are not sleeping.
You make it seem so easy. Yeah, so just amazing. Amazing. Oh my God, this is scary smart. Gráinne says, amazing. Jewel says. And Aurora likes the step-by-step approach in separate variables instead of one with multiple functions applied. Easy to troubleshoot and easy to go back if something doesn't work.
Yes, yeah. Thank you. Yes, thank you. It's the magic of Power Query. It's just the magic. Excellent. Okay. Now what I need to do, I need to expand these tables that I'm having here. Now I need to expand it so I can combine all that information in one big table. So in this case, you can do it using the table combine function, but if you do that, you lose the information in this column. So in that case, I recommend that you find a way to put this information inside of this table with an additional column, or you can also, or the other option that we have is we can expand the tables here. So I'm going to click at these two arrows on the right of the column data, and I'm going to expand them. I'm going to say, okay. The thing with this approach is that the name of the columns is hard-coded, and I don't like that. I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. So we are going to, before we go there, I'm going to show you something on here. I'm just going to remove this last step, and I'm just going to click. I went back to this step. I click at one of the items here on my column data. I click at one of those tables, and that brought me to one of those tables that in this case is store 1. As you can see, what happened here, it brought the name of the previous step, and it brought I'm bringing the first line, which is position 0 in Power Query. The first line is position 0, the second line position 1, and so on. And it brought that from the column data. That's where my tables are. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to delete this last step. And I'm going to expand the column data. I'm going to bring that information, and I'm going to just expand my formula bar. Now that I know how I can access to the name of the columns dynamically, I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to say Control-V. Remember that I just copy what I did when I expanded only one table. And I'm going to do it this because what this one is bringing is the name of those tables. It's bringing me that name from this table here, right here. This table in the first line, position 0, the name of those columns, if I want to access to this item in column data, I can just provide those curly brackets and the number 0. So that is exactly what I'm doing here. I'm saying that, and of course it didn't work. And, oh yeah, because I need table column names. And I want the column names of that table. So when I click at the table, at the first line table, and brought me that table has the names, that has the column names that all the tables have. If I press enter now, I have all my tables expanded because all my tables have the same number of columns, the same name of columns. So it will bring me all those columns at once. And this is a dynamic way to bring exactly the same information that I had when I expanded that information manually. When I did this, I'm going to go one more step. When I click here to expand, when I click here and expand, I'm going to insert this. So these are the names of all my columns, and this is how I want to rename it. So this function allows me to expand the name of these columns and allows me to rename them. If I don't want to rename it, then Power Query just assign the same name. So it gives me the same if I remove the second set of square brackets. It gives me just exactly the same information. This information is the name of all the columns in my table. So I remove this step. I just wanted to show you the names of those columns. So those name of columns, I'm getting the same information with this function, table column names, from my first table that I have in my column data. Okay. And that reminds me that custom step, I'm going to call it kind of transform or transformation, TFRM, and expanded data, I'm going to say X data. And I do that because when you go to the advanced editors here in Home Advanced Editor, it's just your code looks a little bit cleaner, and just I like how it looks. It doesn't have the quotation marks or the hashtags. It just looks cleaner, and for me, it's easier to read rather than having very long names. And if your steps have 2 words or more words with a space in the middle, then it will assign a hashtag and quotation marks. So that just makes the code cleaner to me. I have kind of OCD on that. So sorry, it's my OCD speaking. Excellent. Okay, now I see I have all my columns. And what I'm going to do, I'm going a little bit slow. So now that I have this information, I didn't show you my other tables, my dim tables. So these are the tables with part of my information, has the information from each store. However, I have dim tables where I'm going to have information for the product and I'm going to have information for the customers. So here on my desktop folder demo, I have a file called dim tables. And I will have a table with the product, and I will also have a table with the customer. This table for the customer is called dim customer, and this is called dim product. So I'm going to bring that to my Power Query editor. Here on my Power Query editor, right click on the left where I have queries, anywhere that is not stores, anywhere that is white or empty. I'm going to say new query, other queries, other sources, blank query. No, hold on. I'm not going to do it manually. I'm just going to do it here. Right click, new query, file, Excel workbook. And from there, desktop, demo, dim tables, the navigator will open, and Control-C+ to zoom in, and see here I see my dim customers and my dim products. I'm going to bring both. So first I'm going to bring dim products. Excuse me. And here, and the second one, right click, new query, file, Excel workbook, and I'm going to bring dim tables. Now will be the customers. And it's coming. Perfect. I'm going to remove the change type step. And same thing with dim products. I'm going to remove the change type. I don't like to have the change type automatically because it gets the name of the columns hard-coded, and I don't like that. I just do it at the end of the transformations or only to those columns that are going to be, that I want to change the data type. Any questions before I keep going?
No questions so far.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now I have my dim tables. Something to look here. Let's go with the customers. I have the customer name that is going to be our key to match with the stores. I have address, phone, the year when these customers became customers, the class. So I won't need that information. So I'm going to hide the query pane so we have a little bit more space here. And so I don't need address. Press and hold Control. I select address, then phone. I don't want year. What else? I don't want class. I could have selected the first column, press Shift and select the last column, but anyhow, you can also select one by one by pressing and holding the Control key. I don't want any of those columns, and everything else, I'm going to keep it. So I'm going to just press Delete, and I have deleted those columns. And I'm going to rename this step columns, remove columns. And the only column that I want to change here, or the data type that I want to change is discount, and I'm going to change that for percentage, and that's about it. And I'm going to rename my step change type for CT. I'm going to do something similar in the dim products. I'm going to change now to the query dim product. I'm going to hide the query pane. And here I can keep all of these. Yes, I'm not going to calculate the unit cost. For the purposes of this exercise, I don't need the cost. I just need the selling price so I can get the sales and then calculate the discount percentage or calculate the discount using the percentage on the sales. So I don't need the unit cost. I'm gonna delete that column and I'm gonna say rem cost, rem for remove and cost, and I'm just gonna keep the columns that I need. Unit selling price will be whole number. I'm gonna go back to my query stores, and depending how big your tables are, but before I go there, let me change the data type. I'm gonna change unit sold. I'm gonna change that for whole number, and the discount, I don't need the discount right now. I don't need to change it right now. So I'm going to leave it for the end. I will change the data type for discount later on. I changed the data type for units sold right now because I will need to multiply the units sold times the unit selling price. And sometimes doesn't work if you don't change the data type for number. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But if you're going to use the data model, for sure, it won't work if you don't change the data type. And I'm bringing this up because you can do this in two ways. You can do all your transformations. You can multiply the unit sold by the unit selling price here in Power Query. In this case, our tables are very small, so I'm going to do it in Power Query because this is a Power Query session, and I want to show you how you can merge queries, how you can multiply columns, how you can deduct. However, if you have very big tables, you probably want to consider use Power Pivot and connect the tables through measures. So if we have time, I can show you how to do that. However, I probably won't have time, so I may make a video on that in my channel or in another presentation, but that is another option, because when you merge queries and you have 100,000, 500,000, a million rows, it depends on the transaction that you are doing, and depends on your data. But if you have a million rows and you're going to be merging and multiplying columns, it might be worth to use Power Pivot instead. So you can connect the tables through specific keys, in this case, customer name or item number, and then create the measures, and the measures are calculated on the fly, which means we'll use memory when they are used, not when the data is loaded. Okay, so that is something to keep in mind. But in this case, as I said, this is a Power Query session, so I'm going to show you how we're going to merge the stores table with the theme tables. So, and I like Power Query. Power Query more. So, and I'm not that confident with measures yet. So I know the ones that get me out of troubles, but calculate is always a little bit scary to me. So anyhow, so here, and I mentioned this because some people may raise that concern, saying, well, what if I have a big table? Is this a solution that I can apply? So you have probably options, right? So, or other options that you may want to explore. Okay, so here on my query stores, we are going to merge this table now with our theme tables. And here on the Home tab, we have here at the top, we have here an option that says merge queries. So we're going to merge the queries on top of this one that we have. So click at the row and I say for merge queries or merge queries as new. I want merge queries only. I don't want to create an additional. And here we have on the top, we have the query that we are seeing. And now I'm able to select which other query I want to merge with. I can merge with the same query. If I want to, I can do that. There are times when it's useful. In our case, it won't. So but that's why you see that the query stores is also listed here. So I'm gonna merge with the theme customers. And my key here will be customer name from the query that I'm working on and customer in my dim customers tables or query. So customer name, press and hold control. I don't remember if I need to press it to select the other query. But anyhow, I always press and hold control. So customer name, customer, and now you see here at the bottom that we have a match of 330 rows from one table and the other table. So all the items are matching. I'm going to say OK. And now I have a new column in my table that is coming from the dim customer query and is bringing the information with the customer. I'm going to do the same, but now with the product. So I go to Home, Merge Queries, and I'm going to look for dim products. And now I'm going to select item, and I'm going to select item number in the second query. And yes, you don't need to press Control. So I just didn't press, and I could select the two columns. I'm going to say OK. And now you have an additional column within product. So here I'm going to go back one step, and I'm going to rename it. I'm going to say merge dim customer. And the next one will be merge dim product. Oh, yeah, it's the same. Okay, did I do it back? No, I did it right. Okay. Now I'm going to expand the information that is coming from my dim customer. Click at the rows here on the right. I don't want to bring the customer again. I already have the customer name on my table. So I'm going to uncheck that column, and I'm going to say, OK. So it's going to bring me everything else. So it will bring me the discount that that customer has, the manager, and the region that that customer is assigned to. I'm going to do the same within products. I'm going to expand that column. I'm not going to bring the item number. I already have that in my table. So I'm going to say, OK. Okay. So I have that information ready. I have the unit selling price. That is what I'm going to need to calculate my sales. So I'm going to go here and look for my unit sold, select that column, press and hold Control, and select unit selling price. I'm going to go to Add Column, Standard, and I'm going to multiply those two columns. I have a new column called Multiplication, and here I have the name of that column. So what Power Query did, added a column from the previous step called expanded dim products. As you can see, because this step, I didn't rename this step and it has a space. Now I have a hashtag and I have quotation marks. So Power Query can recognize that is the name of that step. That is an identifier, right? So, and here is the name of the new column, multiplication. And what it's doing is multiplying unit sold times unit selling price, and it's assigning the whole number type or integer 64 type to my column. I don't want to call this column multiplication. I'm going to change it here. I'm going to call it sales. I'm going to press enter, and now you see that my column is called sales. Now I have the sales. What I need to do now, I'm going to select that column, sales, press and hold Control, and select discount. I'm going to go again, table at column, standard, multiply, and now I have another column with that percentage. Sorry, with that discount. And I'm going to call this column calculated discount. Press enter. And now I have my sales and my calculated discount or correct discount, whatever you want to call it. Or instead of calculated, I'm going to say correct discount. I'm going to change that. And now you see I can change that name here without creating another step. And I haven't been renaming my steps, but I'm just checking the time, and I just want to make sure that we are going to have all the items that I want to see. So I'm not going to keep renaming the steps right now, but keep in mind that it's in my eyes, it's a good practice to rename them. So it's something meaningful, but also something that is going to allow you to read your code. Okay, now that I have that information here, what I'm going to do is from the discount that I gave Oh, and one more thing before we move on. The discount in my table, the sales, or the discount that I gave to those customers in their invoices, is in a negative number. So to compare with the correct discount and to convert this into a negative number, what I'm going to do here, but in this step where we add that multiplication, where we are multiplying the sales by the percentage, I'm going to multiply by the minus column with the percentage. And I'm going to click at the check mark, and now you can see that our numbers are in the negative, right? So just to make it comparable with the discount that we gave to those customers here in our invoice. And I'm going to select discount. I'm going to press and hold Control, go to the end, select correct discount, and the order matters. With the multiplication, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter if you select one or the other first or second, it doesn't matter. But with the subtraction, it matters. So I want to see from the discount that I gave to the customers minus the correct discount, I want to see how much I gave the customers more or less. Okay, I selected that at columns standard. I'm going to say subtract. And now I have information here where I can see that the correct discount for this line was 0. However, I gave $53 discount to this customer for this product that I should not be giving because the discount percentage is 0. Okay. So this is giving me now information that is useful and meaningful. So the name of this column is subtraction. I'm going to say difference discount. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to select. Okay, I don't need the column discount, the percentage discount. I don't need the units sold. And what else I don't need? I don't need the unit selling price. So I'm selecting the columns, but I have the control key. I'm holding the control key, pressing and holding the control key. What else I don't need? I don't need the sales. I already have the discounts. I'm going to focus only on the discounts. And I selected all those columns and I removed them. Okay, so I'm just keeping the information that I need. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to discount, select that column, correct discount, and difference discount. I'm going to right click and I'm going to pivot, unpivot only selected columns. And let's see, perfect. And here I have an attribute. I have the column with the items that I want to analyze, let's say. So I'm going to say, I'm going to leave it as attribute. And in value, I have the values or the amount, right? So let's see. Now that I have the column value, I'm going to click there. Here at the square beside what it says value. And I'm going to change this as what is currency. So I bring in only maximum of 4 decimals. I'm going to go home, close and load too. And I feel like I did something wrong, but we'll see. Okay, I'm going to say only create connection. And I'm going to just click OK. Because I don't want to bring the result of this, all the queries as new tabs and tables. I just want to select the query that I need, and I want to load it as a pivot table. So let me zoom in a little bit. Here on my queries store, right click, load to, and I'm going to load these to pivot table report right here on B2, and I'm going to say OK. I want to bring the attribute here on the columns. I want to bring the region, and I want to bring the values. Okay, I don't need the grand total. This is not applicable. So I click at the grand total, right click, and I'm going to say remove grand total. And yeah, this brought me what I need. So right click to any of the numbers, number format, number, use 1,000 separators, and I don't want the decimals. And I'm going to say, okay. So the correct discount was 35. The difference, okay. The discount, I'm going to just select discount column, and I'm going to move it here on my left. I have the correct discount, and I have the difference in discount. So the discount that I gave to these customers is higher to the correct discount by 14,051. And I can see that I have issues in 2 zones. So I'm going to go to design, report layout, report in tabular form, so I can see the titles properly. So I have the region, and I have this difference in discounts. When you are transferring your tables and using the Power Pivot, you can create the measures, and you can create the difference, and you can create this correct discount. You can create the measures to calculate this information. So you don't need to do those calculations in Power Query, okay? In our case, we are doing Power Query. So we have that information here. And I see that I may have an issue with the region. Let's explore a little bit more. What about if I go by the item group? That is the products. So is that specifically for an item that I may have wrong in my system? And I can see that no, it's probably the region right here. The region has issues with all the items. Okay, so I'm going to remove that item group from my pivot table. I'm just going to drag it, or I could just uncheck here on the list of my field, on my pivot table fields. So, okay, that's not the problem. Okay, let's move the manager. And now we start seeing that the issue is coming from specific managers. You can see that I have region South, but manager Carol has the discrepancy, and manager Lucy doesn't have that issue. Okay, now I'm getting more into what is happening with this discount calculated or given wrong. Okay. So now that I have more insights, it's like, okay, I can start identifying and talk with the managers and see what is happening. Could be that the tables haven't been updated with the percentages that the customers have been assigned, or could be that the managers get a bonus on the sales that they have, and they are giving discounts where they shouldn't, just for them to achieve that bonus. So there are several things that you need to look at. But now that you have this information, you can be monitoring these discounts in a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly base, right? So whatever works for you, now you have the query that is going to allow you to do that every time that you have new files, updated files. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to go back here to desktop, demo Toronto 25, May 28. My folder stores has this file that we work with. And now I'm going to go and Control C with the stores 11 to 15. I'm going to go, I'm going to go to the folder stores, Control V to paste. I'm going to just open it. As I mentioned earlier, the files are similar. They have inconsistencies. They have the names in 2 lines or in 1 line. They have blanks, they have, etc. So I'm going to close it. And now that I added that file to my folder, I'm going to right click to my new pivot table that is in my workbook book 1 that I didn't save it yet. I'm going to right click and refresh. And now you see that my table has been expanded. And now I have also my manager row who is giving a discount where the correct discount should be 0, right? So this is going to help me to monitor that. So I'm going to go to region. I'm going to value filter, and the value does not equal 0, but I need to check some value 0. Let's see, that one or with this one, with the manager. Some value does not equal 0. Let's see. I know it didn't work. This attribute. It's because I tested differently for this custom. Now, when I don't make the calculation for the difference in the discount, when I don't do those calculations in Power Query, then I can add a field, and I did that before. Let me see if this works. So I can calculate an item, and I can have.
Can I suggest something?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm not sure if it's going to work, but if you click on G3.
Yes.
And then apply filters. So data, and then apply filters there.
Oh, yes.
That's the magic cell by Bill Jelen. There you go.
Thank you. Awesome. I tested this with different approach, and then like, oh, I didn't test the filters. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you. So now you see that before I put the file with stores 11 to 15, we had a difference of 14,000. Now that we have store from 11 to 15, now we have a difference of 23,000. So is that quickly, that easy? It's just fantastic to have a process that is going to do that work for you, from messy files to something meaningful, something that you can take action on and follow up and see why we're giving those discounts. Because if you're, let's say, I have my dimensional tables here, and which customer? Let me just see. Let's bring the customer name here, and one with the issues, Amanda Wong. And Amanda Wong, let's see, right here, Amanda Wong has 0% right here in our dimensional tables, right? So if I change that to a 5% and I save it, I close that, Amanda Wong has a correct discount of 0. Right-click and refresh, and now I see that I gave a 5%, and now I see that the discount that I gave is lower than the discount that she's allowed to have, right? So if your dimensional tables have changes, your results are going to change as well, right? So that is the magic of this. Like, you just do it once. It takes time to do it once, but once you get it, then it's just refresh.
It will pay off. It will keep paying off, that work.
It does pay off. Yes. Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah. I don't think there's questions, but I do have one question. I was intrigued by some of the files. They don't have item in column 1. Why is it that it still works?
Because column 1 in the file itself has nothing. So Power Query is smart enough to go to stores
to ignore any empty columns before the data. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I don't think I ever dealt with that situation. I never realized that empty rows on a sheet, empty columns on a sheet at the beginning of the sheet would be ignored. That's interesting. That's good to know.
I don't know if that has changed from before, because I remember at one point I didn't have that opportunity of having that consistency because I had empty columns on the left. And I remember using a drill down to identify dynamically I think it was the column and the row or something like that. I used to do that. But then suddenly I realized that as long as there is nothing in those columns, you're fine. Sometimes I believe if you delete something and it looks like you have nothing, but you had something there before and you deleted it.
But something is still recognized that the cell is not totally clean. Something
exactly.
Like
sometimes then it brings that column. But if the column has nothing, then you're fine. It just ignores that. So just Yeah, it has been very useful though. But you need to be very careful, and that's a very good point, Celia, because sometimes you don't realize that it's like, why is not working, right? And it's probably because there was something in that cell, and that's why Power Query now is bringing that information, but you don't see anything, right? So yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a great
You're
case,
welcome.
a challenging one, and you provided such a clean code for it.
And like, thank you so much. But I really enjoyed this, and it's just so intuitive sometimes, and it's I really like it. It's very generous. I would say the code is very generous. The M is very generous. So yes, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Mhm.
We have amazing presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you for the detailed presentation. Thank you. Thank you,
very
everyone,
welcome.
for having joined us.
Yes,
For those of
yes.
you who are new, the way it works with the recording is I will upload it in a couple of days, usually around the weekend, but sometimes weekends are busy too, so it may take a little longer. I will do my best to have the recording available on YouTube by the weekend. And we will also send an email with the link for the recording. Are you sharing these files, Alejandra, for people
Yes,
to do the
yes,
exercise? So great,
yes.
thank you. So
You're
we
welcome.
will have a shared folder where you will be able to find these files from Alejandra and follow along if you want to go back to the recording and do the exercise yourself step by step. You can do that. You will find all the other links, information with discounts and whatnot on the email as well.
Yes, and I will provide the presentation too. I have some resources.
Oh,
some
wonderful.
as well.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
And let us know where is it that people can find you.
Oh yeah, thank you, Celia. Here, I was ready. Okay, you can find me in YouTube as Alejandra Horvath or Alejandra Horvath en español. But I'm assuming most of you speak English. So Alejandra Horvath is fine. And also I have the link in my channel to my channel in Spanish too. Or you can find me in LinkedIn as Alejandra Horvath, same thing, Robert Alejandra Horvath. Or you can find me in Instagram as Empowered to Excel as well. So yes, please feel to follow me. And I haven't posted much. It has been quite busy, and just life takes over, and it's just easier to get distracted. But I'm hoping I will be able to start posting again. It's just it takes a lot of time. The editing, as always, I'm so afraid of the editing. Yeah. So I may go with live streams again. So yeah, but it will. I will get there. It's because it's summer, almost summer, and it's just my evenings and my weekends.
Yes, we need to enjoy life, and these type of things that we give to the community, we need to find a good balance for us and for our families. So nobody's blaming you, and we just thank you for taking the time to prepare this session, to spend the time here with us. I know how much effort and time it takes to prepare a presentation like this. It takes hours to have this ready to present, and on such an organized way as you did. So thank you for that dedication and for that generosity from you, Alejandra.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be back. Thank you.
Well, anytime. I wish I could do this more often. It's kind of the same thing as you were saying. We need to find the balance. If I could do it weekly, I would, because there's always people to present, people to learn from. But unfortunately, there's a limit for our free time. So we do what we can, and hopefully it helps people who take advantage of it.
Yes.
Okay. So I
Thank
think
you,
this was perfect. We are ending at the exact program time. There's some links there that Alejandra shared. and people are thanking us and thanking you. So thank you again, and thank you again to Gráinne for having joined us today, and for all the best for her new project. Not new, but for her project that is growing, and all the success.
And join
And
us
thank you for
anytime.
joining us.
Yes. And thank you so much for all the work that you put here, honestly, and all the support. You're going to be missed, but I'm very glad that you will come as in the chat, so you are not completely gone. So I'm glad that we will have you still around here. So yes, thank you. Thank you for all the work that you all do, because it's a big commitment, finding the speakers, organizing, coordinating with the time. So thank you so much for all the work that you do.
It's a pleasure. Yeah, we
Thank
do
you.
it with all the love and just wanting to learn from you and other people who come to present. So it's a benefit for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. We didn't. I couldn't know all of this if it wasn't because of the community, right? So,
Yeah.
so it's good to give back. So somehow, to help, just to contribute with so much that we learn. So it's just a little piece that we can give at least back from all the big learning that we have had from the community. So yes,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
If that is all, I don't see any more questions. I will see you in the next session, June the 11th with Shandip. That one will be in the morning.
Yes. That's going to be good. Yeah.
So if you want to come along, it should be great. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.